Allah is my heart's speech. Your mercy is what I beseech. Keep in my heart your remembrance, and in your deen allow me to advance. Help me in my quest. Permit me to pass the ultimate test. Help me in my quest. Permit me to pass the ultimate test.
السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. الحمد لله رب العالمين والعاقبة للمتقين ولا عدوان إلا على الظالمين، والصلاة والسلام على أشرف الخلق أجمعين نبينا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين. My dear viewers, welcome back. Welcome to another live edition of our program Ask Huda. And as usual in the beginning, I'd like to remind you with our phone numbers and the contact informations, which beginning with the area code 002, then 0238555131, alternatively area code 002, then 010054693323, and the WhatsApp numbers are area code 00134780625, finally area code 0013614891503. It seems like we're having a little problem with the sound. Can the viewers confirm that you guys can hear clearly, please? I'm talking about those who are watching us online, either on the YouTube or the Facebook. I would appreciate if you can confirm. You can just simply type number 1, no sound. Okay, so we're having a problem with the sound on the Facebook. Okay, Assalamu alaikum, Sister Muniba. Muniba from Pakistan, Assalamu alaikum.
Walaikum assalam.
Yes. Sister Muniba, welcome to Ask Huda. Go ahead.
Welcome, Ustad. Thank you so much. Just wanted to ask some personal question related to family system and social marriages.
Okay.
I hope you are in the best state of your health and iman. I'm Dr. Muniba from Pakistan. Just wanted to say guidance from Allah through your knowledge of Quran and Hadith. I hope this would be acceptable for you, just asking a personal question. There was some doctor who proposed me by just sending a message to my mom 2 years back. I follow complete Shari Parda and he also observes Deen. My mother was quite happy to receive my first proposal.
Okay. Dr. Muniba, I'm listening.
I also follow complete Sharai Panta and he also observes Deen. My mother was quite happy to receive the proposal. Over the whole first year, she started to meet him and judge him according to Sunnah and Quranic Faham. She found him a reasonably nice, strong and honest man. He asked him to bring his parents to my place. When his parents came to my home, they were from a very low or poor social status. So my father and my mother decided that we should reject them. After that, time has been passed for about 1.5 years. Different proposals have been coming to me, but they have been rejecting me, or some of them were not liked by my parents. So I have been doing lots of du'as and istikharas. Constantly that same proposal is coming into mind, although I have no contact with that family. And my parents are now deciding to get me into some kind of forced marriage, although I don't like that family that much because they're not oriented towards Islam. God, can you guide me?
Okay. If you're done, Sister Muniba, inshallah, I'll be happy to answer you. Assalamu alaikum. Mu'in from Bangladesh. Assalamu alaikum.
Brother, assalamu alaikum, Eid Mubarak.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Mu'in, we're about to witness another Eid already, mashallah. Eid Mubarak to you and to your family. Go ahead.
Brother, I wanted to wish you for a long time, but didn't get time in between.
Thank you
brother,
so much. May Allah bless you and your family. I'm just kidding with you.
For the last almost like 8 or 9 Jummah, I'm not going to the mosque because in our country it's a partial lockdown. But now the mosques are open, but I don't feel that much safe because this when the prayer starts, the social distancing are like not 100% measured, or maybe sometime you get all people are standing together, no that much gap. So now in that case, what should I do?
Okay, got your questions. Just want to confirm again, with the new window that we open on the social media, can the viewers hear clearly? Is the sound crystal clear? Please type number 1 if it is okay, and number 2 if the sound is not okay. Okay, Ayub from Canada. Assalamu alaikum.
Walaikum salam, Dr. Salah. How are you?
I'm doing great, alhamdulillah. Thank you for asking, brother Ayub.
Dr. Salah, I have two questions for you. My first question is attending non-Muslim weddings and funerals allowed?
Okay.
And my second question is, I've heard that when you're praying Salah in the masjid, when you're done the Fard Salah and you want to pray the Sunnah Salah, you have to move and not pray in the same spot. So does that same principle apply if you're at home? Do you have to move your prayer rug to a different spot?
Okay.
That's
Got
the
your
only question
questions.
I have.
Ayub.
Jazakallah khair.
Jazana wa iyakum. Thank you so much. Assalamu alaikum. Imran from the UK. Brother Imran, assalamu alaikum.
Alaikum assalam, Sheikh.
Welcome to the program, Akhi.
My question is for today is regarding Salah.
Yeah.
So a lot of this fatwa on fiqh on Salah, where one of them is that there should not be too much movement during Salah. But what if someone has a skin condition where he starts to itch due to his problem, but he has to keep moving his during the Salah, he keeps moving because of his skin condition and he has to itch every time. Will that invalidate the Salah?
Okay. Got your question, Imran. Well, I got your message is that the sound is low. There is sound, but the sound is low. And I want to assure you that the technicians and the engineers are working on it currently, inshallah, to improve the sound on the Facebook. Assalamu alaikum. Musaddiq from the UK. Assalamu alaikum.
Walaikum assalam, Sheikh. Can I proceed with my question?
Please go ahead.
Yeah, my question is, I just want to understand what sort of protest is disapproved in Islam.
What sort of
Because
protest is
normally
disapproved in Islam? Correct. Okay.
Yeah, imagine 10 people, they come together in order to prevent any harm. Would that be considered as a protest, or it is only, under the circumstances when large number of Muslims go against government or any sort of, state level?
Okay,
Hello?
got your questions. We'll take maybe a couple more questions and put the calls on hold till we get to the end of answering these questions, inshallah. Sister Khadija from Malaysia.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi, Sister Khadija.
Yes, Sheikh, I have two questions.
Naam.
My first question is it permissible for a woman on her period hour?
Okay, any other questions?
Yep. Then my second question is in the verse of Surah Al-A'raf, it started with Ala Rabbana Zala.
Okay. Yeah, the ayah of قال ربنا ظلمنا أنفسنا. What is your question, Khadija from Malaysia? Mihraj from the USA. Assalamu alaikum.
Sheikh, I have a question. I live in USA, but I want to do business, hotel business in a Muslim country, and I'm not intending to sell alcohol in that hotel. And I don't know, I cannot control who's going to come and go. Meaning, if the guest who's coming with the mahram or non-mahram, should I be worried about that or not?
Okay. Got your questions. Yes.
Hello?
Yes, I hear you, Mihraj.
Yes, but that's my question, that's all.
Okay. Jazakallahu khairan. Thank you, Mihraj. Got your questions. Let's put the calls on hold. Meanwhile, they're working on the sound to fix it, inshallah. Sister Muniba from Pakistan, a decent person proposed to her. She liked them. Her family liked them. He liked them as well, but when they met with the parents, they found them they're kind of poor, so they rejected this proposal. If I were you, I wouldn't have done that. If the person is capable to suffice you, to take care of you financially, not necessarily buy a house, but even live in a rental property, the matter of rizq is in Allah's hand. A lot of people who have been poor, but Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, after they got married, those people are very enthusiastic, very high zealous. They worked hard, and they became much more wealthier than the family of the girl. And I've seen that. Many of my colleagues who came from Pakistan, came from India, they share with me, they are doctors, they share with me that they used to walk to the school barefooted. And now, mashallah, they married and they brought their families from India, from Pakistan. Alhamdulillah, they have become the most successful doctors in the States. Biggest houses, nice ranches, boats, and all of that. So the matter of rizq fluctuates, increases and decreases. Allahu yabsutu rizqa liman yasha'u min ibadihi wa yaqadu. Allah the Almighty is the one who increases the rizq, the provision, to whomever He wills of His servants, or restrains it up to His will. So if the man was good, has a good degree, has great potential, I would say, Bismillah, and I would give him my daughter in marriage. I'm saying that, and I still did not give my daughter in marriage yet, which means, inshallah, if that happens in the future, last consideration will be wealth. His parents are extremely poor, no problem. So he will be supporting my daughter and his family as well. And this is actually a plus. This is something great. So he will become independent, not relying on his family's support. But if they refuse, it's your right, it's up to you, but you have missed this opportunity. If it happens again, say Bismillah. And if the same man proposes again, you say that he is religiously committed, he's a man of manners, he has a good degree, mashallah, he can, maybe he has a good job now, but his family come from very poor background, that shouldn't affect your decision whatsoever. Wallahu ta'ala a'la wa a'lam. In the hadith, the Prophet ﷺ said, when somebody proposes to your daughter whom you trust his religious commitment, his manners and his amana, fazawujuh, say Bismillah and give him your daughter in marriage. Of course, when you approve that, so nowadays you say that some proposals are coming, but you don't like the family, you don't like the guy, never marry him. Never say Ameen or Bismillah or agree to marry somebody whom you do not like, or whom you find that his family do not like you and you do not like them. Because in our Muslim communities, particularly in the Indo-Pak community, it is not a man and a woman only who get married, it's two families merging together. So you guys will be overlapping and interacting all the time. If you do not like them and they do not like you from the beginning, no. Second question. Mu'in from Bangladesh, again, is asking about the physical distancing in the prayers in the masajid. Masajid were closed for over 70 days, more than a couple months, and now some masajid are gradually opening and implementing the rules of the physical distancing. What is the hukm? Permissible. Take precautions. I was wearing my mask in the beginning of the program, and I was begging those guys, say, can I keep the mask on? They said, no, it will affect the sound. So, okay, I had to take it off. Otherwise, I wish I could have kept it on. Before we walk in, we measure the temperature for each individual. If we notice anything, we say, Ma salama, go home. So these measures are purely Islamic. Even before we have a system of medicine and preventive medicine and any of that, the Prophet ﷺ taught us all of that. لا يُرَدَنَّ مُمْرِضٌ عَلَى مُصَحٍ. So a person who is sick should not come and sit with those who are healthy. Those who are healthy, they should not come and sit with a person who is physically containing or contracting a contagious disease. It's as simple as that. So keeping the physical distancing doesn't affect the validity of the prayer. I have a video about 6 minutes long on my page where I spoke in details about the proofs, the dalil, why is it permissible and it doesn't affect the validity of the prayer. That was presented in the beginning of Ramadan. Brother Ayub from Canada, can a Muslim attend the non-Muslim wedding and the funeral? Non-Muslim wedding or a Muslim wedding, it's permissible to attend provided there is nothing that is haram going on around while you're sitting. So if your own Muslim brother or sister having their wedding party, everybody is dancing, men and women, and jumping around, I'm not attending. And I have not attended many weddings of family members for this reason. And some very close people who have threw a huge party and they invited me as a guest of honor. I was walking and I saw that, I did not step, and I said, I'm sorry, I cannot sit there. This is what Allah the Almighty stated in the Quran. فَلَا تَقْعُدُوا مَعَهُمْ حَتَّى يَخُوضُوا فِي حَدِيثٍ غَيْرِهِ إِنَّكُمْ إِذًا مِثْلُهُم. With regards to the funeral, Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam was sitting, and then a funeral was passing in front of him and his gathering. The Prophet sallallahu alayhi wasallam stood up. They said, Ya Rasulullah, it is a funeral of a Yahudi, of a Jew. So he said, so what? Isn't it nafs? Isn't it the soul of a human being? It's out of respect for death and the soul which died, regardless the person is a believer or a non-believer. Attending the funeral where there is a prayer, the person who is the chaplain, whatever religion that he will be presenting, would invoke other than God and you will be standing, is not permissible. Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam did not attend the funeral of his own uncle Abu Talib, whom he cried so much when he died, whom the historians call the year on which he died the year of sorrow and grief. But because he died as a non-Muslim, the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam didn't attend his funeral. Yet, any non-Muslim friend or neighbor or colleague have a death in the family, Muslims are obliged and are required to give their condolences, to go to their houses if they can, to condole them and to assure them. They have happy event to share with them, good or bad events, to condole them whenever there's something which incurs sorrow or grief. Happy moments, text message, postcard, a little gift, and so on. But I do not attend an event which there is haram in it, whether it is, orchestrated by Muslims or non-Muslims. He also asked about the practice where many people, after they pray the fard, they move from their place in order to pray the sunnah. Is this required? No, it is not required. Is it the sunnah? It is not the sunnah either, but the Prophet ﷺ in the hadith ordered what should not pray the sunnah immediately right after making taslim from the fard, unless if he speaks or he changes his location, so that the sunnah would not appear as it is a continuation of the fard prayer. And that's why if a person prayed in jama'ah and I'm sitting, made khitamus salah, can I just stand up and pray in the same spot my sunnah? That's perfectly fine. Well, I like to change my position so that another spot on earth will bear witness for me with this intention. That is perfectly fine. I prayed the dhuhr and I'm on a hurry, I need to catch my flight or whatever. Can I pray the sunnah soon after I pray dhuhr without khitamus salah? Correct. Yes, you may, but change your position so that this is an announcement. That's a different prayer. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Sister Ramla from the KSA. Assalamu alaikum.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, sir.
Yes. Assalamu alaikum.
Sir, I have 3 questions for you.
Naam.
Okay, sir, my first question is, if a woman is used to cover her face with a veil in which her eyes are only showing, so can she take her own photo from her own mobile and then share it with her sister or brother? Is it permissible?
And share it with her family, right?
Not family members, only with her sister or with her brother.
Well, a brother is a family member, isn't he?
Yeah, of course, sir.
Okay, so share it with the family, correct?
Okay.
Yes,
you can
that's
say family.
permissible.
Okay. Okay. Thank you, sir.
You're
and
welcome.
My second question,
Yes.
sir, my second question is, sir, are we allowed to give zakat to some cancer hospitals? If yes, and if not, then what if a person has paid his zakat in previous years to cancer hospital? So is he required to repay all his zakat of previous years to again
You see, Sister Ramla, if this is your last question, that's a very serious question. In fact, I do not trust all of those hospitals, particularly if they are government-run and operated hospitals. So they raise funds, they ask the public to support the cancer patients, and they pay actors and actresses to advertise for them. Tens of millions payments towards the advertisement. So they take from my zakah. I'm a poor person. I want to support those cancer patients. So I pay them, and they take the money and they pay others in order to make advertisement in tens of millions. They don't make it for free. And then we do not have any access to know whether this money was given towards the poor cancer patients or not. Because again, not any cancer patient can find a bed or be admitted to the hospital. You know what I do, Sister Ramla? I know there is a poor family who are having cancer patient, I give them my zakah. I know a poor family in need for medication, I give them my zakah. Give them the money, they buy the medication, they pay the hospital fees, and so on. You know, nowadays the time is very tough. It's very, very tough to verify whether my contribution is being deposited and spent in the right place or not. Wallahu ta'ala a'la wa a'lam. Hamid from the USA. Assalamu alaikum, Akhi Hamid.
Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
This Hamid from Dubai.
Okay, we'll change from the USA to United Arab Emirates.
I want to ask, is it permissible to greet someone that Juma Mubarak?
I didn't get the question. The sound is not really clear, Hamid. Can you repeat your question?
I said, I want to ask, is it permissible to greet someone that Juma Mubarak?
I'm not sure. Maybe in the control, you will pass on your question to me. Jazakallah khairan. Ra'is from Italy. Not Ra'is Italy. Ra'is from Italy. Assalamu alaikum. Yeah, Mr. President.
Assalamu alaikum, Sheikh.
Wa alaikum salam, Mr.
Yes,
President.
Sheikh, how are you?
Welcome to the program.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much,
You know,
Sheikh.
next time,
how are you? How have you been?
Next time, find a middle name or a last name, anything other than Ra'is, because the guys in the control assume you're the president.
Sheikh, I chose this name to tell them that you should remember me, so it makes me happy when you remember me.
Okay, go ahead. What is your question?
Yes, Sheikh, my question is, Sheikh, I came across of one hadith of Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, which caught my attention. I wanted to ask about this hadith. It's a hadith of Sahih al-Bukhari, which says that Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, when he visited Miraj, where he was shown the hellfire, and the majority of the residents of the hellfire were women, and where you know this hadith very well. So he was told that they were like not disbelievers, but they were not good to their husband. So first is that first point I want you to explain this hadith to me so I understand it very well. And the second part of this hadith, I wanted to know that when Prophet Muhammad ﷺ already saw those majority of women were there, so it means that there are already people in the hellfire, or he was talking to referring about after the akhirah?
Okay. Yeah, your
so
question.
That's my question.
Yeah. Dura from the USA, Sister Dura, Assalamu alaikum.
Assalamu alaikum, Sheikh.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
I have question.
Diora?
About prayer.
نعم. We lost you. Sister Diora, we lost you. Okay. You want to try again, Sister Diora? Sister Diora, please try again. Muhammad from the UK. Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, Sheikh. How are you?
Alhamdulillah. Thank you so much, Brother Muhammad. Go ahead.
Yeah. So I have got 3 questions. The first question is, I am a PhD
Can you raise, Muhammad, can you raise your voice slightly, please? I can barely hear you. You said you have 3 questions.
Can you hear me now?
Raise your voice. MashaAllah, you're calling on the landline. It should be crystal clear. Raise your voice or come close to the phone, please.
Yes, I'm as close as possible. Can you hear me now?
Okay, I'll do my best to hear you. Go ahead, Muhammad from the UK.
Okay, so I've got 3 questions. The first question is, I am a PhD student, and I'm currently working with my supervisor on a research around collecting data for online church. So as a Muslim, I just wanted to ask, is this permissible for me to work on this?
Muhammad, you said you're a PhD student in the UK, and then you said something about your professor. What is it? No, please try again. Assalamu alaikum, Sami from Bangladesh. Assalamu alaikum. Meanwhile, my dear respected viewers, mashallah, I see the viewers are split. Some type number 1, which means the sound is okay, is great. And a few write number 2, which indicates that the sound is not clear. Before we take a break, can you please confirm one more time if the sound is clear? I would appreciate that. Assalamu alaikum. Sami? Brother Sami, go ahead. Sami? طيب. Well, let's all take a short break and we'll be back inshallah in a couple minutes. Please stay tuned.
Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala revealed the Quran in 7 different ways of reciting. Similarly, Maryam alayhi salam, she's a woman by herself. She doesn't even have a husband who's ever touched her, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala granted a child to Maryam alayhi salam. Look at that. She said that, how will I have a child? وَلَمْ يَمْسَسْنِي بَشَرٌ. How will I have a child whilst I've never ever been touched by a man? One of the unique things about this story is that it's not like Umar al-Khattab hasn't heard these verses. Can you imagine that Umar al-Khattab hasn't heard these verses? He became sick from the effect that this ayah ended up having on his mind at that moment.
Today we want to talk about the ways, the actual practical ways to achieve happiness. So that way we can attain that success in this dunya and in the next, bi'idhnillah ta'ala.
As men in particular, we are financially responsible for our families, and also we will be asked about our money. In the hadith it mentions where it came from and what we spent it on. But the major sins, that needs tawbah, that needs repentance, real serious repentance.
I want to focus this episode on the major signs, as they are mainly more important, and of course we can relate to them and hopefully increase us in iman, which will in turn make us successful Muslims, inshallah.
The fact that Allah is telling us about Jannah and Jahannam we should take heed so that we can wake up. The fact Allah is telling us about the Day of Judgment, what will happen, is because when we experience it, we can't deny it.
Snapshots from Makkah al-Mukarramah. The Rasul sallallahu alayhi wasallam as an orphan, Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wasallam and his family, the first revelation of Iqra, the Prophet sallallahu alayhi wasallam and the year of the elephant. These and more bi'idhnillahi ta'ala we will discuss in our program entitled Snapshots of Makkah al-Mukarramah.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, and welcome back. Our phone numbers should appear on the bottom of the screen for the reminder. Go ahead. Assalamu alaikum. Our first caller, Sajid from the KSA. Brother Sajid, welcome to Ask Huda.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Sheikh Muhammad, Ustad Muhammad Salah.
Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Welcome to Ask Huda, Brother Sajid.
First of all, I have to pray for you. It's very pleased time to be with you on the phone, on the Facebook, and may Allah bless you in every moment.
Ameen. Same to you, Akhi. Thank you so much.
I'm very happy to be with you on the phone and Facebook, online. And Sheikh, I have one question only. It is not according to the, Sharia or something like that, but some people who are refuting to the Dr. Zakir Naik and Sheikh Asim Luqman Al-Hakeem and Dr. Sheikh Ahmad Didat from South Africa, may Allah preserve his soul. And some people who are on Facebook and refuting them, they are telling them they are bidati, they are innovator, and they are not good. They are showing iman and they are selling Islam. Like this kind of thing is happening in Facebook and throughout the Facebook. They are always, every time they are posting against the Dr. Zakir Naik, Sheikh Asim Luqman Al-Hakeem, and Dr. Ahmad Didat from South Africa. If you understand my question, I don't have to repeat again.
I do.
If you understand my question, you can answer me.
Yes, I do understand your question. And my answer in brief, Sheikh Ahmad Didat, may Allah have mercy on him, was such a great propagator of Islam, a great da'i, unprecedented during his time. May Allah bless him, bless his soul and his family. Dr. Zakir Naik, may Allah bless him, he's doing his utmost to propagate the message of Islam in its purest form, and he's doing a magnificent job. Hundreds of thousands of people have come to Islam and became much better than those who were born in Islam because of his effort in the da'wah. Sheikh Asim Al-Hakeem devoted his life, masha'Allah, in studying and propagating the message of Islam. His only problem is he sometimes beats me in the tennis table, if you know what I mean. Otherwise, you've mentioned some very great people. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala bless them. And if you think that the person is sitting in front of you without any flaws, without any drawbacks, without any faults, then you're gravely mistaken. All of us, no matter who is that person, is having a lot of mistakes because we're human beings. كل بني آدم خطاء. And if you're going to account everyone for a mistake they've made here and there, then by the end you're not going to listen to no one. Look at the full half of the cup. Those people have devoted their lives to propagate the word of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And instead of supporting them, you oppose them and you spread lies about them. That is haram. This is the pure innovation. If you don't like them, mashallah, the market is full of dua. I know some people who would listen only to certain kind of people. Stick to them. But do not dare to discredit others who are working day and night to spread the word of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. You do not like them, just step away. Do not like their pages. Do not watch their programs. Okay? If there is a particular mas'ala, you come and you say, somebody, Sheikh, is saying Gog and Magog is not a reality, it doesn't exist in the Quran, say that is wrong. It does exist. It's mentioned in Surah Al-Anbiya, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala confirmed that their emergence will be one of the signs of the Day of Judgment. The Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, there are a long series of ahadith with regards to the emergence of Gog and Magog. And it's also in Surah Al-Kahf how Dhul Qarnayn, the just king, has been sent by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to separate them and build a dam. So one of the scholars has an opinion or ijtihad which is wrong, neglected, and we oppose it, and we explain to the viewers, this is a wrong understanding. This is a wrong understanding. But I do not wage war against the sheikh or alim or try to discredit him or ask people not to listen to him. It's entirely up to you. If you think that this person is not a reliable source of information, do not listen to him. Barakallahu feekum. Sami from Bangladesh. Assalamu alaikum, Sami.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullah, Sheikh. I've got two questions for you.
Naam.
The first one is about the night prayers that I do. I stay in the sujood for almost two minutes. So when I sit back in between the two sujoods, do I have to sit in for 2 minutes? This is my first question.
No, not necessarily. Not necessarily. The Prophet ﷺ's prayer in the Nafila prayer, because it suited him most, he was praying by himself. So he used to pray pretty long prayer. But for us as individuals, whether in the fard or the Nafila, if you make in the sujood, Subhana Rabbi al-A'la 3 times, sufficient. When you sit between the two sajdas, when you say the supplication, Rabbi ghfirli, warhamni, wahdini, wajirni, wa'afini, warzuqni, or any of these supplications, that's it. That's perfectly fine. Tahajjud, you want to prolong it. You want to spend 15 minutes in sujood, fine. And you sit in between the two sajdas for 3-4 minutes, is entirely up to you. But what is required is what I mentioned earlier. Now, go ahead, Sami.
And thank you so much. And the second question is, I read in Sahih Bukhari that Aisha radiallahu anha, she said that our Prophet used to offer 2 rakat sunnah after all the time, but it contradicts with the knowledge that we have. But this cannot be the 2 rakat of Zuhr that we read in the other hadith. It cannot be all the time that he forgets the 2 rakat of the Dhuhr and he says it after the Asr.
No, Jazakallahu khairan. Thank you, brother Sami. Assalamu alaikum. Nu'man from the UK.
How are you?
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. To be honest with you, Nu'man, I can't wait to hear your questions. Go ahead.
Yeah, don't worry, not my marriage. I
What
think.
happens normally, your bros, especially from the UK, when they bring questions, they're kind of problematic questions. But you bring questions about marriage and marriage issues, you make it a kind of fun.
Actually, the other day I read about the advice Imam Ahmad gave to his son about marriage. I thought, mashallah, it was very good advice.
Alhamdulillah.
Sheikh, I've got my question is with revolving around. We know the reward of if you can actually tell me the reward fasting Mondays and Thursday. I know the Prophet said one day he was born and Mondays, that's why. As a Muslim, if I were to fast, I read somewhere, is that true that you've been moved away from Jahannam by 70,000 years something? Or if that, I don't know if that's true or not, and what is the actual reward, and if I did for the sake of Allah, and also again the fasting 13th, 14th, 15th, the 3 white days, or the white nights rather. If one were to do them in his lifetime, what great reward are we expecting from Allah Azza wa Jal?
Done?
Done, Akhi. Thank you so much.
That's another good question of yours. Thank you, Nu'man. Okay, because I didn't write his question, I'd like to quickly answer it. Mondays and Thursdays, we all know the Prophet ﷺ said why he regularly fasts these 2 days of every week. Our deeds will be presented before Allah the Almighty, and he said, I like my deeds to be presented while fasting And in addition to on Monday, that's a day on which he was born, and he's giving thanks by fasting, voluntary fasting on that day. He asked about another hadith and whether it is true that when you fast Mondays and Thursdays, each day will take you away 70,000 years from, or 70 years away from hellfire. The hadith says, من صام يوما في سبيل الله باعد الله بينه وبين النار خريفا. The word 70 means 70 years. Kharif means a fall or autumn. So it means whoever observes fasting, voluntary fasting, في سبيل الله. Here is a clause, the condition. Allah will take him away from hellfire the distance of 70 years of traveling. So the ulama, the scholars, differed whether the word في سبيل الله refers to the ayah number 60, chapter number 9, في سبيل الله, يعني on the battlefield, while in the army, while being mobilized, or في سبيل الله in general, يعني for the sake of Allah. I tend to believe that it is the latter. So whenever we fast any voluntary fasting, it is exclusively في سبيل الله, and we anticipate that fasting في سبيل الله, voluntary fasting, takes you away from hellfire, distance you 70 years from an-nar. So that's why we increase our voluntary fasting. So that will apply to Monday, Thursday, 13th, 14th, 15th, or the 6 days of Shawwal to complete the number of 36 days. Any day you fast, في سبيل الله. أخي نعمان, بارك الله فيك. السلام عليكم. عبد الناصر from the UK. السلام عليكم.
وعليكم السلام ورحمة الله وبركاته.
أخي, go ahead.
Is wearing clothes inside out makruh?
Okay. Any other questions?
My other question was, say if I wanted to get rid of hello?
Yes, I hear you.
Say if I wanted to get rid of my clothes and I've got it like a long time ago from money that was not halal, can I get rid of it without getting a reward, and is that without getting a sin, you know?
Okay, so you want to get rid of the clothes by giving it away to somebody because you bought them from unlawful earning, correct?
Yeah.
Okay, you can do that with the intention of getting rid of haram.
Okay.
Assalamu alaikum.
Jazakallah khair.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Muhammad from the UK. Assalamu alaikum. Assalamu alaikum. Assalamu alaikum. Ridwan from Nigeria. Assalamu alaikum.
Ridwan. Okay. Wa alaikum salam.
Go ahead.
Now my question is, okay. I started banking with an Islamic bank here in Nigeria, and they explained to me I will be having some profit every month due to my savings. Is this profit clear from riba?
Wallahi, Ridwan, I would love to understand your question in order to be able to answer it, but I didn't get it.
I said I'm banking with an Islamic bank here in Nigeria. Okay.
Okay.
Are you hearing me?
Yes, now I hear you.
Now they explained to me I'll be having some profit every month due to my savings. Okay. Are you hearing me?
Now you said that every couple of months they give you interest?
No, they explained to me I'll be having some profit every month due to my savings. Okay.
Okay.
Are you hearing me?
Yeah. So
is this profit clear? Is this profit clear from riba?
Go on.
I said, is this profit? Do you hear me? That? Hello.
Yes. Go on, please.
Okay. My second question is, what is the ruling on putting on a...
I'm sure, yes, please, inshallah, in the control they can collect the question. I'm sure the viewers, they kind of appreciate sometimes the suffering of not being able to understand the question clearly. And of course, I'm not going to risk it and jeopardize my integrity before Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and try to give an answer if I did not hear the question clearly. But I guess I got the first question that he has some saving in the bank, in a conventional bank, and every couple months they give him, what do you call it, profit. It's interest. We all know that this interest is haram, and we spoke repeatedly about what you're supposed to do with it. You collect it and you give it away. You give it to the poor, you give it to a school, to a hospital, to an orphanage, but you do not benefit out of it, neither yourself nor your family. Imran from the UK asked earlier about that the movement in the salah. What is haram, akhi, in the salah is the unnecessary movements. You know, sometimes you see some people, once they say Allah Akbar, start popping their toes, crossing their fingers, fixing their pen, looking at their watches, checking out their phones. That invalidates their prayer. And subhanAllah, it becomes like involuntary. They do that automatically. Once they say Allah Akbar, start fixing their clothes, start fixing themselves, checking out their belongings while in the prayer. This is the practice which is fear that it invalidates the prayer. But somebody is having allergy and he has to scratch, skin disease, he has to scratch. Is that permissible? It's permissible. Would that affect the validity of the prayer? No. When the Prophet ﷺ was carrying his granddaughter Umama, and while he's standing, he's carrying her, then he bows down, he puts her on the floor. Again, he picks her up, makes sujood, he puts her on the floor. This is a movement, but it was necessary to keep her calm. A mother who is taking care of her baby while praying, would that invalidate the prayer? No. But the person who's fetching his clothes, playing with his wallet, popping up his fingers, this is what would really, if it is too much haraka, unnecessary movement, that would invalidate the prayer. Assalamu alaikum. Luba from Bangladesh. لوبا. طيب.
Hello.
نعم. السلام عليكم سيستر لوبا.
Hello.
Yes. السلام عليكم. السلام عليكم.
Hello.
I hear you, Sister Luba. Go ahead. If you cannot hear me, then do me a favor, brothers. I needed to answer Abdul Nasser, I believe. He asked two questions. I answered one of them. His first question was about wearing the clothes upside down or inside outside. Is this haram? No, it is not haram. So why Uthman ibn Affan forbade it? And it is concerning an Arabic Bedouin practice of wearing the clothes inside outside in order to ward off the evil eye. In the Arabic, and there are still some practices, whenever somebody would have a baby boy, they would puncture his ear and make a hole and put an ear in one or two of the ears. But this is only for girls. Yes. So why do they do that? They do that in order to ward off the evil eye. So people, when they see the baby, they think the baby is a girl. It's okay. For a girl, they would not envy them. For a boy, they will envy them. These are cultural practices. Sometimes they will give the baby boy a girl's name. All of that is haram. And they will make them wear the clothes inside, outside, so that people, when they look at them, they think, it would ward off the evil eye. This is similar to wearing talisman or ta'weed or amulets, and this is haram. But, Akhi Abdul Nasser, your clothes, inside they look better than the outside. Outside got dirty. So I want to wear it inside, outside. Do as you wish, as long as you cover your aura. Musaddiq from the UK asked about the protests, and is it like more than 10 people, less than 10 people? When is it considered haram? I want to say, for Muslims who are living in the West, subhanallah, all the time we talk about you must abide by the local law. So sometimes there are halal things perfectly halal in Islam, but you cannot do them in the UK. In Islam, it's permissible to take a second wife. You can't do that in the UK. So you find a person is having a wife and a girlfriend or a mistress, but it's okay. But there. But to have a wife, to have two wives, is, you know, you will go to jail. All over Europe, North America, you'll go to jail if you do that, except in a couple of states because of their Mormons. So in this case, the local law there, the Constitution, the First Amendment in North America, it gives them the right to demonstrate and to protest peacefully. You ask me, Sheikh, is this halal or haram? Halal. It's your right. Enjoy it. Okay? When you ask me in any of those Muslim countries, you gather and you demonstrate and they will shoot you right in the brains. Halal or haram? You're putting your life at risk. You're jeopardizing your safety. Okay? So do not take it for granted as a single answer. Yeah, all the time this is haram or all the time this is halal. It depends on the circumstances, if you know what I mean. Again, many questions are flowing with regards to the permissibility of protesting the death of George Floyd in America. Peaceful demonstrations and protests are perfectly legal, and from a Sharia perspective, halal as well. That is the right that the Constitution gave you in order to demand your rights. This is how the blacks and the colored people in North America gained independence. And this is the way and the only way nowadays that they're going to stop the police brutality, not only against the colored, but against all people, against all civilians. The other day in Buffalo, 2 police officers, there was a peaceful white male, 70 plus, practicing Catholic, church-going person. He was a lone protester walking in the street, and they pushed him, irrespective of his old age. He's 70 plus. And when he fell on the ground and started bleeding, they did not even pay attention to him. Okay? That was very normal to happen before the events which are happening today, because they were caught on camera. The 2 officers were suspended, and furthermore, they're arrested now and they're under trial, okay, for a great felony. But before that, it was the norms. So when people have a possible, perfectly legal means to gain their rights, it is halal as well to utilize them, provided it is peaceful and you avoid anything of haram, looting and forcibly breaking into somebody's house or breaking cars or windows. You know, the violent activities, that is not permissible, of course. We ran out of time, but we have Ra'is from Italy. He's going to fire me if I don't answer his question about the hadith in Bukhari and how the Prophet ﷺ, actually the hadith has been narrated with different narrations and they're sound. Many of them are collected in Imam Bukhari, so they're sound hadith. How the Prophet ﷺ said, he has seen that most of the dwellers of An-Nar are from An-Nisa. And he explained why. Number one, we know that worldwide the women outnumber men. So that's something to keep in mind. We're done with that before. So it is typical. Number two, how the Prophet ﷺ said in one hadith, يوم القيامة, on the day of judgment, Allah the Almighty will say to Adam alayhi salam, Ya Adam, ib'ath ba'th an-nar. Take out of your people, out of your offspring, those who are doomed to hell. So Adam alayhi salam will say to Allah, and who are they and how many are they? He says, out of every 1,999 people. So the pessimistic people, the people who look into the empty half of the cup, right away they think about, then we're all doomed to hell. The optimistic people and the high zealous people would think about, how can I be of the saved 1%? So the Prophet ﷺ was asked, Ya Rasulullah, every 1,000 out of whom 999 will be going to hell, so what will happen? He said, don't worry. The 999 will be from Gog and Magog, from the non-believers. And the Prophet ﷺ assured his ummah that wouldn't it be sufficient? Wouldn't it make you happy to be 1/3 of Ahlul Jannah, 1/2 of Ahlul Jannah? You be the vast majority of Ahlul Jannah. So the catch in all of that, and when we take out of these ahadith is, what am I supposed to do in order to be saved? He said the two evil qualities. تُكْثِرْنَ اللَّعْنَ وَتَكْفُرْنَ الْعَشِيرِ. You guys curse a lot, and that's why you go to hell. وَتَكْفُرْنَ الْعَشِيرِ. What is تَكْفُرْنَ الْعَشِيرِ? They asked the Messenger of Allah again, what does it mean? He said, a married woman, the husband is super nice to her. He's taking good care of her for years. فَإِذَا أَسَأْتَ إِلَى إِحْدَاهِنَّ. And if you ever do bad once or upset one of them once, she turns around, she says, مَا رَأَيْتُ مِنْكَ خَيْرًا قَطْ. You've never done any good to me. You're always mean to me. But for the past 20 years, we're living happy. So she ignores all the virtues, all the good things, and she focuses on one incident. So a Muslim woman is commanded to avoid these two evil traits, which cause women to go to an-nar, which is too much cursing, backbiting, slandering, and kufranul ashir. Rather, the woman, similarly the man, should be grateful to Allah and to everyone who does them anything which is good. من لا يشكر الناس لا يشكر الله. Otherwise, أخي Rais from Italy, we have references in the Quran, beautiful references indicating that men and women are alike when it comes to reward or even punishment, when it comes to doing good deeds. In Surah An-Nahl, the Almighty Allah says, من عمل صالحا من ذكر أو أنثى وهو مؤمن فلنحيينه حياة طيبة وَلَنَجْزِيَنَّهُمْ أَجْرَهُمْ بِأَحْسَنِ مَا كَانُوا يَعْمَلُونَ. This is just one reference for the sake of time, because we went over time. So whether a male or a female, as long as you do good while believing in Allah, you will receive a good reward in this life. لَنُحْيِيَنَّهُ حَيَاةً طَيِّبَةً. Allah will make your life happy here. Then وَلَنَجْزِيَنَّهُمْ, on the hereafter, we shall reward them according to the best of what they used to do. أقول قولي هذا وأستغفر الله لي ولكم. والسلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته.
Allah is my heart's speech, your mercy is what I beseech. Keep in my heart your remembrance, and in your deen allow me to advance. Help me in my quest, permit me to pass the ultimate test. Help me in my quest, permit me to pass the ultimate test. Allah is my heart's speech, your mercy is what I beseech. Keep in my heart your remembrance, and in your deen